Hello, this is Dan. I just want to share with you some information I found out about Open Government Initiative and how government agencies are sharing information. And a lot of the information is shared in XML format. National Broadband Plan people, they've shared their information. And this is the project I'm working on right now. So I want to take their information, which looks something like this. Here's a sample record set. And then process it into like a usable application. What I'm thinking is I want to create something that was fast, but I need it to be flexible, something like Lego blocks, like a Lego block of apps that I could like snap into like a grid, and then I can mix them together, take them apart, rearrange them at will. So that's what led me to JackB. At JackB, they have a product even for the enterprise, so you can make mashups behind the firewall, Presto product. They have a pretty active mashup developer community. And they also have Presto in the cloud, the Presto Cloud Community Edition. They come in here, if you don't have an account, you can sign up here, it's free, so you can sign up and then you can log in. And once you log in, you'll see a dashboard looks similar to this. So you see there's a lot of information here, like to help you build your mashups and build up your web applications. And over here you'll see like they have like a huge assortment of data sources that you can use and experiment with. And here are some of the mashups that some of the development community has put together. And you could come here, you could find something like in the mashups here that could be very similar to what you need, and you could just make a couple simple modifications, and you could have your mashup in a matter of minutes instead of days. And over here there's some mashlets. This is where how like you could create your mashup and then save it and share it like in multiple environments with just a couple lines of code. So when you come up in here to the Presto wires, you see it's pretty much just a pretty user-friendly environment here. Basically you take these elements over here, you drag them out onto the screen, you just wire them together. So you connect them together, and this is where I started to build out some of the information I needed for the broadband forms. And then when I put this together, here's what we end up with. So we have like a form that we could filter the broadband data on. There's several thousand records, so I don't think anyone wants to look at them all at the same time. I didn't build this by hand either. I had help on this too. So this is using the EXT designer by EXTJS. This is pretty sweet. Like it can put together like forms and other elements for you pretty instantly. So I downloaded a trial version. Got the code like developed for me, written for me by the little application. I copied and pasted it into the mashlet. Here's the other mashlet that we're going to be using. So it's kind of like the blocks. These are going to be our little app blocks, kind of like the Legos that we're snapping together into our grid. So this is going to be the map block. This is going to be the Google map. And as far as for using the Google map, there's like a lot of information on the Google site about using their map API. There's a lot of other resources available on the web too to help you along with that. So after we get everything, our pieces built, then we can just snap them into our grid. So it looks something like this. So here's our form we just looked at a few minutes ago, and here's like a little map grid, and here's a navigation piece for the map and some other things. So the grid's pretty simple too. So I used the Yahoo Grid CSS. You can come right into here and you can click right here, the grids builder, and it'll actually generate the code for you. You basically just kind of copy it and paste it into your page. So let's take a quick look at what our code looks like. So here's what the main source page looks like of our dashboard. So the dashboard up here, like on top, here's our little Lego blocks of apps here included. And right here's the form, and here's like the map navigation, here's the map block, and a couple of other things there. So you can see as you just come down here, there's not really much to look at here. So there's not much code to write, so it's a huge time saver. And if you look inside the mashlet itself, here's the navigation for the Google map. And you see here's kind of the code structure creating the object for the map. Here we have a reference to the mashlet itself. We put this in a global scope so we can have our dashboard and other mashlets be able to communicate with it. And then down here you'll see we have a function that's waiting to get data, which is going to be passed from the maps, the Google Maps mashlet. Here's a quick look at that one. So this one is a little bit more detailed. You've got the same structure as what you just saw, and the other one does kind of empty. We've got our same, like applying like any a handle, so a reference for our global scope, so we could talk with it. And here's the basically like a loop, like a function. Then we pass through the loop to start drawing out the map. Like most of this code is freely available on the web too. So let's take a look at what that looks like on the dashboard right now. So here you go here. You can filter out your information by a few different types, a few different fields. So if we go like select a state, click to update the mashups. So then it loads up the information here. So what happens, this goes out to the cloud, gets the information, brings it back, passes it the information that it needs to this next little block here. So this was going to draw out our map and do all the little points. And then from that information, then it's going to go out and then start to populate this list that we see here. So then in this list, you could click on these items here. Then that talks back over here to this block here. So these elements are pretty easy to create, and especially when you do them like a block at a time. When we first started this, we only had just these elements. Well, actually just this one and this one. Then we decided like the list navigation would be helpful too. And then we went on like a day or so later, and then we added this one. So you see when I click the details here, I can close this up so you can see that a little bit better. And you see now it populates this other block, our little Lego block down here of information. There you see here we've got the organization information, we've got some grant information here, and then we have a little bit more of the project information, like the type and the classification, and then a project description. Now you notice like on some of these, basically these are all connected and talking with each other, including the form just like now hidden up here. So every time you click on this, all this information here is already on the client, so you're not making trips back and forth across the network, you know, and then hitting your server. So it's actually bandwidth friendly, it's network friendly, and it's very user friendly because it's very fast. And you can also click right in here on these elements here to pop up the balloon to see the navigation elements there. So we click on the details here, then this is going to drive information, request information on the cloud, and then drive it back down into this little mashlet down here, our other little block. And then here's another piece we kind of added later too, was this little piece here goes out and searches the web across multiple sites for news related to the broadband plan. So as you can see, like the elements here. So there's, you can like pop these open, you can take a look through these. It's basically like an RSS feed coming through here, but it's just from like multiple sites. And that's pretty much it. There's more things to look at as far as for like, you know, getting in touch with people about how to build, you know, things like this. The best thing I can say is get in touch with people at JackB, and get on the cloud, get on the Presto, check it out, test it out. Doesn't cost anything. And you can get in touch with the developer community here. They're very friendly people and very helpful. They helped a lot with this build right here. Thanks.